let's go ahead and talk about Fenrir. And the first thing that I want to mention is that she was tested on the test server, which has a lot of input lag. On top of that, we used an average player stats, so you may be able to get better results than we did. But I want to go ahead and give a special thanks to Kawasa, to where you can check him out over at Twitch, over at Muwasa Gaming, who does raids, FC, and even Void Abyss 6 carries as long as you're on Solaris. And Kazir, my Claudia Matrices expert. These two are essential when it comes to testing out these characters. And I also want to thank Ridley, greatest Discord moderator, who helps keep me on track. So now let's talk about Fenrir's two main mechanics, which revolve around her skill and passive. Her skill creates a Soul Link clone of the enemy you are targeting and allows you to do massive damage while this clone is up. The only downside is that the clone does not move. So if the enemy moves away from the clone, it can result in a massive DPS loss. So ideally you want to try to position the clone in front of the enemy's path of movement. Her second mechanic involves her passive, which is focused around putting notes on an enemy you are attacking. You can have up to 5 notes on an enemy. This mechanic is pretty simple. Try to place at least 3 notes on an enemy and detonate them to add a chunk of burst damage and damage over time to the enemy. If you fail to detonate these 3 notes, you're going to lose the 2x damage bonus. So now let's talk about her playstyle. Fenrir is a hyper carry who relies on her other 2 weapons to buff her up as high as possible. Essentially, you want to stay on Fenrir as long as possible while keeping off the other 2 weapons due to her high DPS, charge, and shatter capabilities. So now let's go ahead and talk about Fenrir's Ascensions. And at the time of recording, Fenrir is in the warehouse on live servers. So Fenrir's biggest and most important ascension is her 1-star, which greatly improves Fenrir's DPS and makes rainbow teams like Saki to work very effectively. The DPS improvement from this advancement is so great that I would recommend that if you are going for Fenrir, you at least need to try to go for 1-star. The next important advancement is Fenrir's 3-star, which also greatly increases her DPS, but not as much as her 1-star. But it also adds a quality of life ability to where you can cheat death, similar to Alice and Lyra. Fenrir's 5-star is another DPS boost, though not anywhere near as large as her 1 and 3-star. This advancement should only be for people who want that extra boost to DPS. This also applies to her 6-star. This advancement applies extra crit, but it is not a large increase in DPS. This is especially true if you already have a lot of crit from your gear. But if you have a bunch of extra crit damage from matrices or weapons, 6-star could potentially add a decent chunk of DPS. So now let's go ahead and talk about Fenrir's trait, which is similar to Alice's, except it even has less conditions. All you need to do is just equipped weapons. Samir's trait can be stronger, but that's only if you do not ever get hit, which is almost impossible to do. And when it comes to balance teams, this is a must-get trait. But for the mono vote team, you want to use Alice's trait. And if you don't have her trait, then use Samir's. Alright, now let's get to the fun part, the DPS calculations. And this is what we're working with. Over 10k crit and over 20,000 vote attack to simulate the average player maining the vote element. So the old comp consisted of Lin, Tion, and Nemesis, with Lin using a 3-star 4-piece Tion, Tion using a 3-star 2-piece Lyra, 3-star 2-piece Samir, and Nemesis using a 3-star 4-piece Lin. And in a minute and 30 seconds, they were able to reach 105 million. Now for the Fenrir comp, and there's 3 main comps, so we're going to show the DPS calculations for each. Starting with the Lin comp, which consisted of Lin, Tion, and Fenrir. With Lin using a 3-star 4-piece Tion, Tion using a 3-star 4-piece Lin, Fenrir used no matrices, her 0-star 4-piece matrices, her 3-star 4-piece matrices, and DPS matrices consisting of 3-star 2-piece Lyra, 3-star 2-piece Samir. Also, this comp used the Fenrir trait. So here are the results of the Lin comp in a minute and 30 seconds. 0-star Fenrir with no matrices was able to reach 53 million, with her 0-star 4-piece, 72 million. Using DPS matrices, 73 million. 1-star Fenrir was able to reach 64 million, with her 0-star 4-piece, 83 million, and with DPS matrices, 89 million. 3-star Fenrir was able to reach 76 million, with her 0-star 4-piece, 100 million, and with DPS matrices, 106 million. 5-star Fenrir was able to reach 88 million, with her 0-star 4-piece, 110 million, and with DPS matrices, 114 million. 6-star Fenrir was able to reach 92 million, and with her 0-star 4-piece, 118 million, and with DPS matrices, 129 million. And with her 3-star 4-piece matrices, 135 million. And here's what this comp was able to do using live stat values. 6-star Fenrir using DPS matrices was able to reach 175 million. 6-star Fenrir using her 3-star 4-piece matrices was able to reach 184 million. And they were able to clear the heroic boss Rudolph in 2 minutes and 28 seconds. And here is the 30-second rotation. Next, we have the Rainbow Team, which consisted of Lin, Saki, and Fenrir, which ended up being the highest DPS. But at 6-star, I also show Claudia in place of Saki, so that way you can also see the max DPS of that team as well. Lin used a 3-star 4-piece Tion, Claudia and Saki used a 3-star 4-piece Lin, and Fenrir used no matrices, her 0-star 4-piece matrices, her 3-star 4-piece matrices, and DPS matrices consisting of 3-star 2-piece Lyra and 3-star 2-piece Samir. And this team used the Fenrir trait. 0-star Fenrir with no matrices was able to reach 39 million, and with her 0-star 4-piece, 51 million, and using DPS matrices, 46 million. 1-star Fenrir with no matrices was able to reach 57 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 75 million, and using DPS matrices, 74 million. 3-star Fenrir using no matrices was able to reach 73 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 85 million, and using DPS matrices, 99 million. 5-star Fenrir using no matrices was able to reach 79 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 100 million, and using DPS matrices, 113 million. 6-star Fenrir using no matrices was able to reach 84 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 110 million, using DPS matrices, 123 million, and using her 3-star 4-piece matrices, 118 million. Now 6-star Fenrir using Claudia instead of Saki with no matrices was able to reach 80 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 95 million, and using DPS matrices, 112 million, and using her 3-star 4-piece, 112 million. And here's what this comp was able to do using live stat values. 6-star Fenrir using Saki and using DPS matrices was able to reach 172 million, using her 3-star 4-piece, 166 million. 6-star Fenrir using Claudia using DPS matrices was able to reach 152 million, and using her 3-star 4-piece, 157 million. And this team was able to clear Rudolph in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And here is the 30-second rotation. Now for the Pure Vote team, which consisted of Nemesis, Tion, and Fenrir. Nemesis used no matrices, a 0-star 4-piece Fenrir matrice, and Fenrir's 3-star 4-piece matrices. Also, 2 sets of standard matrices, with a 3-star 4-piece Shiro and 3-star 4-piece Nemesis. Tion used a 3-star 4-piece Tion, and Fenrir used DPS matrices, consisting of 3-star 2-piece Lyra, 3-star 2-piece Samir. Also, this comp used the Alice trait since Fenrir trait does not work. So here are the results of the Pure Vote comp in a minute and 30 seconds. 0-star Fenrir using no matrices was able to reach 47 million. Using her 0-star 4-piece, 63 million. Using Shiro matrices, 52 million. And using Nemesis matrices, 52 million as well. 1-star Fenrir using no matrices was able to reach 60 million. And using her 0-star 4-piece, 77 million. And using Shiro matrices, 67 million. And with Nemesis matrices, 67 million as well. 3-star Fenrir Fenrir, using no matrices, was able to reach 73 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 92 million, and using Shiro matrices, 81 million, and using Nemesis matrices, 81 million as well. 5-star Fenrir, using no matrices, was able to reach 79 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 101 million, using Shiro matrices, 86 million, and using Nemesis matrices, 86 million as well. 6-star Fenrir, using no matrices, was able to reach 87 million, and using her 0-star 4-piece, 106 million, using Shiro matrices, 97 million, and using Nemesis matrices, 97 million as well, and using her 3-star 4-piece, 122 million. And here's what this comp was able to do using live stat values. 6-star Fenrir using Shiro matrices was able to do 131 million. 6-star Fenrir using Nemesis matrices was able to do 141 million. And 6-star Fenrir using her 3-star 4-piece was able to do 164 million. And this team was able to clear Rudolph in 2 minutes and 57 seconds. And here is the 30-second rotation. Alright, now let's discuss some free-to-play / low spender teams, and this is using the average player stats as well as max star matrices, since we can't lower down the matrices in the test server. Starting with Lin, Nemesis, and Fenrir. Lin used a 3-star 4-piece Shiro, Nemesis used a 3-star 4-piece Nemesis, and Fenrir used a 3-star 2-piece Shiro and 3-star 2-piece Amir. And this team used the Fenrir trait, and in 1 minute and 30 seconds, they were able to reach 72 million. And here is the 15-second rotation. The next low to spin team is Lin, Claudia, and Fenrir, with Lin using a 3-star 4-piece Shiro, Claudia using a 3-star 4-piece Claudia, and Fenrir using a 3-star 2-piece Shiro, 3-star 2-piece Amir. And this team used the Fenrir trait as well. And in 1 minute and 30 seconds, they reached 79 million. And here is the 15-second rotation. And now for the free-to-play team, which consisted of Nemesis, Claudia, and Fenrir, with Nemesis using a 3-star 4-piece Nemesis, Claudia using a 3-star 4-piece Shiro, and Fenrir using a 3-star 2-piece Shiro, 3-star 2-piece Amir. And this team used the Fenrir trait, and in 1 minute and 30 seconds, they were able to reach 60 million. And here is the 15-second rotation. And now for the disclaimer / notice section, and the first thing that I want to mention is the testing environment, which has a lot of input lag, so you might be able to pull out better numbers than we did. For example, on the live servers, Kawasa is able to pull out 115 million with his Tion comp, whereas on the test server, he was only able to pull out 105 million. Also, we use Lyra and Samir for DPS matrices, but Crow is better than Lyra as long as you have over an 85% crit rate, but you can't use it on the Cactus, so you should be able to get better numbers than we did. And if you don't have Lyra, you could always use Shira. Number 2, pure vote teams. And the first thing that I want to go ahead and mention is that you need to use the Alice trait or Samir because the Fenrir trait does not work for this team. Also, you'll notice in the DPS calculations that Shiro and Nemesis were about equal, but after 1 minute and 30-second battle, Shiro starts to decrease, but it's a lot easier to get Shiro standard matrices than Nemesis. Number 3, Fenrir matrices are okay. I would say the strongest matrices for Fenrir are Tion matrices, especially the 2-piece, because it allows the chain lightning to bounce between your clone and the real enemy, which can do some massive damage. And currently, 3-star 4-piece Fenrir matrices are only doing about 6 million more than DPS matrices, but this could change once they hit live servers. Number 4, star. Fenrir is strong, especially for Volt mains, giving them much needed survivability, shatter, damage, and charge. And if anyone wants to try the balance team, Fenrir is essential. On top of that, Fenrir is a pretty good low investment since her 1 star is all you need to unlock her true potential, whereas the rest of her advancements are mainly DPS improvements and quality of life. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and consider subscribing. I do daily videos to help prevent you from making mistakes. But other than that, talk with you guys later.